fine. I believe it's shortly after this I get a victory in food or something like that. We'll see. I swear I got something like that shortly thereafter. Yeah, okay. Progress and income, so personal income has gone up. I'm pretty sure it hasn't gone up all the way. Or no, I guess it has, because I'm pretty sure before it was 3 red and there were no yellow bars. Yeah, okay, progress in goods. I just got a whole lot of telegrams here. My environment's not all that great, but what do you expect when my gross national product drops to 1,637? Yeah, here telling me, oh my god, our environment's weakening, whatever shall you do? Well, I can't do anything about it because I need money. If they want me to do something about it, I need money, but there's nothing I can do to increase my money. Without cutting back on other programs which would piss somebody off, which would get me thrown out of office, so... And this guy complains about private ownership cannot be put off any longer. Our economy can only survive if we begin to use that much feared word capitalism without cringing at the sound. Again, that's the guy who basically supports you as the reformist party. Here I get a message from the Council of Ministers. I don't remember what this one's about. Let's see. Perestroika. Can't remember what I do exactly for here. I'm not sure if I implement... Oh, I'm pretty sure I implemented, but I don't know if I implement it fully or not. I think I may end up having tell my guys to study it for a bit. I can't remember. But this one basically coincides with that newspaper that you saw literally like just before I got the call from the Council of Ministers. I can't remember how many options. I think there's 4, maybe 5 options. Yeah, okay, 4 options. Okay. Yeah, except the moderate restructuring proposals, because the radical one would piss off the hardliners extremely. Probably get me thrown out of office at the end of the month. So I decided to go with the moderate one, which will probably make some of them angry, but not all of them. So I decided to go with cautious reforms. Figure slow and steady is better than just boom instantly capitalist Soviet Union. I don't think that would work out. Yeah, okay, food goes down. But I don't know why food goes down, but it talks about a severe housing problem, which is kind of funny. And I believe I throw money now into public works and whatnot. I can't remember off the top of my head, something like that. Or no? Okay, it's under construction that I throw it, but obviously I need to take money away from somewhere. I don't remember where I take money out of though. I believe I cut back on imports and exports just a little. Going back to my I round everything to more or less the nearest number, or at least try to. Let's see, And I'm like, okay, I've only got 7 balance to spend, so I can only bring this up to a maximum of 77, which isn't all that great, but I think I end up doing it anyway. But I don't actually notice that I've got a balance of 7. Yeah, okay, so I throw all my balance into that. Yeah, so I didn't get a telegram telling me food went up, but it did, and then it went down just before I got the thing about housing issues. And then here, gene-altered seed has brought us a 20% increase in crop production, which I'm pretty sure instantly increases my food. Nope, no it doesn't, never mind. I thought it did. But it does, I believe, contribute. I think it's like towards the end of the year. Yep, okay, never mind. Right there at the end of the month it went up, but health went down. Simply because I don't have much in healthcare. Who would have thought? When you've only got a certain amount of money to spend, you gotta try to make cuts where you can, and that ended up being a place that I had to cut before. But hey, health went down, but crime went down also. So I've increased my law and order, which is obviously great. Apparently it's a very low... I think all the telegrams I get are listed as low priority. And I believe I cut back on construction, cut back on literally almost everything under the production category to try to increase health. Maybe if I bring this down to 420. Because I try to round everything to the nearest whole number. or well, not really whole number, but the nearest number divisible by like basically 5. Usually I try to go with 10. And then I believe I kick construction back up, and I decided to go with 80, which is just below what the ministry wanted. And I cut back on that, and not sure what I do. Euro. Okay, I decided to increase that, even though law and order increased, I decided to try to help or further increase law and order. And I try to gain some more influence with veterans. In that case, I think the veterans it's referring to are veterans of war, which I don't think really gaining influence would do massively anything, really. But I don't know. I don't have any way of really having the game explain to me how each of these little things work out. So, yeah. Yada yada yada, because the game doesn't just let me go instantly straight here and there. Now I adjust everything again. It's been a little while. No, I think I screw up some of the adjustments. I think it's under trade policies where I end up screwing it up. Because I think in trade policy I adjusted it to notches, as I refer to them, which doesn't work out all that well. And I'm never going to go with the very bottom option. So I don't mean 10, but I mean like in this case ultra liberal. And that consists of notches 9 and 10. I will never go with that option because I figured that that's just going to be terrible for me. Just absolutely terrible. So I go with the notches just below the bottom one, or the bottom category. Oh. Okay, I'm back. Oh, wow. Okay, really. Whatever. So yeah, I just adjust these sliders as I figure is fine for them. So nothing really happens for a while because I'm just going through making sure I adjusted this as I want it. So, here, progress and health, which actually must have gone up 2 bars or 2 squares because I could have sworn it was 2 red and now it's 3 red and yellow, which is obviously better. And victory and civil rights, which is obviously always great for them. So civil rights must have gone up. I didn't really pay attention to that when it happened, so here we are, May of 1987, well, June of 1987 now. And we just sit here doing nothing for a while. There's nothing to do. Policy discrepancies, getting this from Sergey again. My Minister of the Interior. I don't know why he's bothering to get on me about this stuff, but whatever. It's really kind of stupid. And policy changes announced. Comrade President, your words have touched the hearts of the Soviet people, and I must admit that I have trouble accepting your political stance in the area of civil rights. Reconsider this policy, or the nation may face dire consequences, aka me being thrown out of office, and theoretically the people not being very happy about it. At least I would think they would be, kind of angry about it. Theoretically, it's probably best if I don't adjust my policies at all throughout the game, at least not in early portions of it, and just wait till further along the line when certain events happen that would probably cause me to do so. So progress and personal income, it doesn't actually go up at all, it's just letting me know basically that they're close to going up again. Although housing is still 3 reds, so that's not very great. And Poland has turned pink, as you saw, which is basically telling me that there's some issues there. In this case, these issues consist of Solidarity attempting to turn Poland from communist control to capitalism. So Personally, I was confused because I've never actually made it this far into the game, so yeah, just let me know. Ministry of Foreign Affairs is calling, letting me know about unrest in Poland because of the so-called solidarity movement. And shockingly, I end up deciding to, you'll see what decision I make. It's probably a decision that maybe wasn't such a great decision in reality. So, yeah. Although I would have figured it would have sped up everything that happens in Poland, but apparently that's not the case, which doesn't make any sense in my honest opinion. So I got 5 options. I can send Warsaw Pact troops into Poland. I can prop up the Polish government with some money, issue press statements condemning the counter-revolutionary actions of Solidarity, ignore the situation, or throw official Soviet support to the workers of Solidarity. And I just kind of stand there because I figure A and B aren't going to lead to Poland staying communist, realistically speaking, because if I recall from history properly, A is what the Soviet Union did. They actually sent troops in, if I recall correctly, which actually I don't find really the Solidarity movement to be significantly major, but it did at least bring up the point that some nations obviously weren't happy, or people weren't happy with communist economic policy in the Warsaw Pact nations. And I figure B is just a waste of money if everything fails, so why would I bother doing that when I already have an issue with money anyway? And I find C and D to be terrible options in and of themselves because they don't accomplish anything at all. They're literally just me saying, I'm not getting involved, but this is my opinion. C is a little bit more of, I don't like them, but I'm not going to get involved. D is literally, I'm not getting involved, but I'm not going to tell you my opinion on the matter at all. And E is actually doing something. So really my options were between A, B, and E, and I chose E, which I would have figured would actually have sped up Poland becoming communist. Figured that was my best bet to potentially have anything good happen, which I figured when you look at the budget, the fact that Poland is a Warsaw Pact nation, and I do provide foreign aid to Warsaw Pact nations, if they're no longer a part of the Warsaw Pact, theoretically I should have more money to spend because they're not getting that money. I figured that's the way it would work, which I think it does to a very minor extent end up working that way. And here it's just letting me know that the Pope wants me to visit the Vatican, and I decide to accept, just for the sole purpose of potentially getting on the good side of the rest of the world. Although I don't know why the Soviet Union would bother at all talking with the Pope when you consider the fact that the Pope is Catholic and the Soviet Union is Orthodox in terms of what the major religion is. In Russia, it's Orthodox, which is technically a version of Christianity, but it's not Catholicism, so I don't know why it would work out this way, but it does apparently. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I think that was basically just really a sort of, the Pope was serving as the middleman between negotiations between the US and Soviet Union, is the way I see it, is the easiest way to really look at it. I don't think I adjust my budget at all here, because my budget here is still next to no money to spend, but it does eventually come back up, if I recall correctly. Because I think it already actually went up just a little bit, but not a whole lot. And I'm just kind of like, I got no money I can spend, so I'm not going to do anything. So, and Estonia turned sort of a light red. And I know I had said that Poland turns pink. Excuse me, I didn't mean that they turned pink, but they're not purple. They're sort of a light purple color. Estonia is more of the pink, actually, now that I really bothered to look at it. That just let me know that the guy who supports me is causing some issues in the Politburo. The KGB is now calling about Baltic unrest, primarily talking about Estonia. And I think because my diplomatic policies was more of defensive, I think that's the reason why negotiations, as you'll see, end up breaking down. So, yeah, that doesn't work out exactly as planned, but whatever, nothing I could do about it. I tried. I did what I could with my policies and everything, so this is how it worked out. I end up deciding to negotiate a settlement giving the Baltic republics more political independence within the context of the Union. My hope was that they won't leave, because they are actually listed as being inside of Russia, so theoretically that means that they actually pay taxes to me, so I figured I can't have them leave, and as you see, negotiations failed. But I don't know if negotiations had succeeded, if that would have actually benefited me at all. Because I'm pretty sure it's like at the very beginning of the following year, my money increases. It's an urgent call from the Council of Ministers. And yeah, now it's talking about the guy who my loyal supporter Boris Yeltsin is causing waves in the Central Committee by accusing conservatives of sabotaging perestroika. And I do the best thing I can. I don't want to really appease either of the groups. I try to be a little bit more in the middle when it comes down to it. Because I figure if I go extreme, support the hardliners, that's not going to work out. But if I help the reformists, 100%, that's not going to work out for me because the reformists are too radical, the hardliners are too radical. So I try to go with the middle option, which here is to make a speech appealing for patience and calm, and then in private, basically yell at Yeltsin. That's basically what they mean by rebuke Yeltsin in this case. Is basically in private, I go and I yell at him for causing issues. Yeah, I figured C is kind of a stupid option, because C is basically the same as D. And I figure A, forcing the resignation of the conservative leader in the Politburo, to be a bad idea in and of itself. So I appeal for order. Basically, I said order in the court, even though it's not a court, but who cares? That's the general concept. Is that I walked in there with a gravel and started smacking on the desk and yelling for order in the court. And as you can see now, East Germany, Hungary, and Bulgaria are all a light purple color because they're getting on their ways for revolution. And as you see, my approval rating has dropped by 4%. The don't know / refused answer drops 1%, and of course that isn't something that's good for me. And this is just letting me know that inertia and dissident attitudes continue among many Republic and Moscow mid-level managers and officials, and that the KGB will officially remove them. I don't know why they would do that on their own. They really should have asked for orders to do so. But no, not given the option to tell them to do so or not. They just do it. And then here it talks about how the Warsaw Pact nations are basically asking that no nation in the Warsaw Pact intervene in the affairs of the other nations. So basically saying Russia can't interfere with issues in, say, East Germany, and so on and so forth. So I just agree with it to hopefully appease the other Warsaw Pact nations, specifically, obviously, East Germany, Bulgaria, Hungary, Poland, and yada yada yada. Those satellite states between me and NATO. Because I figure rejecting it's a stupid idea in and of itself. It's not going to work out, and reserving comment until it's studied is basically the same thing as saying do nothing in that case. So I decide, okay, I'll just go and pledge non-interference in your affairs. So yeah, as you see, Estonia is now a very light green, which basically means that they're just about to actually become independent, and Latvia and Lithuania are a yellow color with alongside Poland. So they're fairly close, but they're not right there. Basically, Latvia and Lithuania are more or less waiting to see if Estonia gains their independence, and I think East Germany, Hungary, and Bulgaria are also waiting to see if Poland gains its independence. Now the funny thing is it talks about how the Soviet Navy will miss not being able to use some port in Estonia. But if you actually look at the map, there is technically still a port that I could theoretically utilize between Lithuania and Poland. And yeah, and here it goes, talking about how Estonia has gained its independence, which basically signs the end of it. But first, it talks about how Boris Yeltsin makes an appearance in Red Square, and thousands come to support him. So I got that wrong. I believe it's a newspaper or a mail I get that talks about Estonia. Oh, yeah, newspaper. Okay, there we go. Estonia secedes. Estonia, the northernmost of the three Baltic republics, today officially declared its secession from the Soviet Union and restoration of the independence it held between the two world wars. The Soviet Navy will sorely miss using the port of Tallinn. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but whatever in this case. It's the best I can do. So and yeah, there's me just questioning how it's like, okay, but we still got other ports that we could theoretically utilize in the Baltic region. And I think this is the last decision I make before I end up getting kicked out of office. And it's just like letting me know that if I let everyone go, my gross national product will drop. So, to put it bluntly, I just decide everyone can go except for skilled workers. That's the option I chose, is that you can go so long as you're not a skilled worker. So if you're a scientist, you're not allowed to leave. If you're an engineer for something important, you're not allowed to leave. So let's say, I don't know, you're a nuclear engineer. You build nuclear power plants and whatnot. You're not allowed to leave. If you're a rocket scientist, you're not allowed to leave. But if you're just a farmer, or a guy who builds houses, and things like that, you're allowed to leave. I don't care. And I think that actually does increase my money somehow. Pretty sure my money increases. Or my gross national product. Oh no, I guess it already increased. I don't know. So, newspaper, The Times, talking about how skilled workers are to remain, but everyone else can leave, and skilled workers will be paid more to make up for not being allowed to leave. So Latvia and Lithuania are still a light green. I don't think they ever actually gained their independence before I get kicked out of office. Which I think is about a minute. So annual policy speeches, and I think this is basically what... I think it's the open immigration that basically contributed to me getting kicked out, but some of these options also, I think, contributed here. The fact that I continue to lean a little bit more towards capitalist policies. I don't think that pleased the hardliners, because for whatever reason, the hardliners didn't get kicked out of office. Which is the odd thing, because if I play as a hardliner, the hardliners have the majority of the control, but very shortly thereafter it switches to reformists having control of the Politburo, so it's kind of odd. I think it might have just been my decisions that led to the reformists not gaining control of the Politburo. So here it talks about CNN, well, GNN. Again, the game's version of CNN, basically. And what is it they talk about here? Oh yeah, crowds cheering today as the Berlin Wall was demolished and the new open immigration policy became a reality. And Latvia and Lithuania still haven't fully gained independence, but they're pretty freaking close. And here it goes. Results of council vote. Your extreme radicalism leaves the council no choice but to remove you as president. We regret that your policies give us no choice. Now, granted, there is one issue with this entire game, is it constantly refers to your character as president, even though leader of the Soviet Union wouldn't have been called president. And I could check and see what it is if my browser will. Oh god, my browser actually has an update. Yay! So that's gonna make this a bit more difficult. What are they called? I don't know. Yeah, I can't find the name. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea who. So, yeah, that's the end of it. I just named this the fact that since I got the farthest, I just name it farthest. I got 4 years. The furthest I've gotten beyond that was 3.